Hello, my yarny friends. I'm Sara Sach, and welcome back to my crochet channel. Now, I'm in a new house. I'm going to be making some new plantings, and I've already started some of them. This one is just a philodendron that I transplanted from another plant, but I'm going to need some new cozies. I have a cozy pattern out there that's for a 4 to 6 inch pot. This one is a little bit bigger, and it'll fit about a 6 to 8 inch pot, depending on how loosely, of course, you stitch your stitches. This pot is a 6-inch pot that I just purchased at my local Lowe's store because I wanted to go ahead and transplant some of my philodendrons because I love them and they're great air filters. All right, so this is what it looks like before we stick it on the pot. And this is what it looks like. See if I can do this without spilling water. When you put it on your pot. And I did this one in super bright colors because I have super bright colors in my kitchen. And this one's going to go in my kitchen. Now this is a great pattern to use up some of your leftover cotton yarns. And I am using cotton. But you don't have to if you're going to put this in the house. I recommend if you're going to use this outside, please do use cotton. But if you're going to use this in your house and you just want it for decorative purposes, you can use any acrylic yarn and use up some of your yarn stash. And this is what we're going to do today. I'll put the link for that smaller pot cozy in that description box, as well as the link for the pattern where this one is located with all the pictures on it. All right. Now, go around your house, see what pots need to be covered and look pretty for spring. So like I was saying in that intro, is you can use any medium weight number 4 cotton or acrylic or some other type fiber of yarn that you want to use for this project. This one is all made with different 100% cotton yarns. Same with this one. I've got some peaches and cream in here, some sugar and cream. I think I've even got some of that Craft Smart from Hobby Lobby and a cotton that I purchased also from Michael. So they're just assorted cottons. I like to try to make sure they're 100% cotton. And so what I did is I just grabbed some more cotton yarns here that I'm going to use to make our demo. You're going to need a total of about 2.5 ounces, okay, of any colors that you want. In the pattern itself where it's written, I don't have all the color changes because like this one, I changed a lot more colors than I did on this one. And so you can change colors as often or not at all. Make it all one color. Totally up to you. It would look really nice just making it in a beige or an off-white yarn to give it sort of a natural look as well. All right, so you're going to need about 2.5 ounces of a medium weight number 4 yarn. We're going to be stitching with our eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. You need a needle just to weave in ends and your scissors. And then, of course, a pot or two. So we're going to begin at the bottom of our cozy or koozie and work our way up the top of our plant cozy. All right, so I'm going to begin with my slip knot. I'm going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to join this chain 5 into a circle. So I'll put the tail of yarn over my hook and pull that through. We'll snug that down, and then I'll tie a stay knot so my little circle doesn't come undone. Now, if you have another method you prefer, like the magic circle for this portion, you can use that. Just do what works best for you. I'm going to pull up a loop and chain 3. This chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. And now I'm going to stitch 11 more, so I have a total of 12. All right, let's see how many I have stitched so far. Our chain 3 counts as 1, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Our chain 3 counted as our first, and then I stitched 11 more. We're going to join to that chain 3 with a slip stitch, and we're going to chain 4. Now I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to grab that tail of yarn, and I'm going to go ahead and weave this in. Now you can do this at the end if you want to. I just like to go ahead and get it over with. All right, so I'm going to go under those stitches, gently pull on that to close it, then come back the way that I came. Give it a gentle tug and then do the same. Go back the way I came. And that's going to hold that securely. Make sure you go through stitches and fibers of the yarn. All right, clip that off. And now row 1 or round 1 is complete. 12 double crochets, joined to the chain 3, and I chained 4. All right, let's do row 2. Now our chain 4 counts as a double crochet chain 1. So we're going to stitch a double crochet, chain 1 in the next stitch. And then we'll repeat this, working all the way around, stitching a double crochet, chain 1 in each of those double crochets around. And see how that leaves some nice open spaces in there? All right, so our chain 4 counted as a double crochet, chain 1, and now we're stitching a double crochet, chain 1 in each of our double crochets around. And then we'll join back to the third chain of that beginning chain 4. So I stitched a double crochet, chain 1 in each of my double crochets. And remember, our chain 4 counted as our first, double crochet, chain 1, and here's our last one. So I have 12 sets of those, and I'm going to join to that third chain with a slip stitch and chain 3. Now on row 3 it's going to be a little bit bunched up because we're going to be placing a double crochet in the same stitch as the double crochet, and then 2 double crochets in the chain 1 space. 1 and 2. And we're doing this because this is going to help the bottom of our plant cozy sit nice and flat. All right, so 2 double crochets in the double crochet, and then 2 double crochets in the chain 1 space. 1 and 2. And like I said, it's going to look a little bit bunchy, but it's also going to help the bottom of that plant cozy sit nice and flat. All right, so 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets and 2 double crochets in the chain 1 spaces. And let me show you how that looks. See how that's going to flatten that out? It's going to open up those chain 1 spaces and flatten that out. All right, so one more time. 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets and 2 double crochets in each of the chain 1 spaces, working all the way around, and we'll join back to our first chain 3. So I have completed round 3. 2 double crochets in each of the chain 2 spaces, 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets. So you're going to have 48 double crochets, and see how nice and flat that is? And that's so the bottom of our pot will sit nice and flat. All right, so we're going to join to that first chain 3 with a slip stitch and we're just going to chain 1. Now for row 4, we're going to be stitching a row of single crochets, and we're going to be stitching in the back loop only. So you can see here are rows of loops. The loops on this side are your front loops. The loops on this side are your back loops that are facing away. So we'll go in that first back loop and stitch a single crochet. You go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through both loops. And we're going to stitch 1 single crochet in each of the double crochets around, stitching in the back loops only. And you'll know that you're doing this correctly. Oops, got a little bit stringy there. There we go. So you'll know you're doing it correctly if you see this row of loops right here. Those are the front loops we didn't stitch in. So we're just going to stitch 1 single crochet in each of the back loops only of our double crochets around. We'll do this all the way around, and then we'll join back to our first single crochet. I stitched 1 single crochet in each of my back loops only, so I have 48 single crochets stitched in the back loop only. Now I'm going to join to my first single crochet with a slip stitch. Now I would chain 3, but I'm going to show you how to change colors if you want to. I'm just going to bring in some of this lavender here. And what I do is when I'm going to change colors and I'm going to come back in with this green one on the next row, I'm just going to leave that attached. And I'll bring in my next color, which can be any color that you want. And you can change colors in the bottom as well. I just want to show you what I do to change colors on this project. All right, so I'm going to do my chain 3 in my new color because the chain 3 counts as our first double crochet. And then for row 5, we're just going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets around. And what we're doing now is we're forming the sides of our pot cozy. Now I do separate the balls from each other because I don't want the purple and the green to get tangled up together. All right, and so for row 5, we're just stitching 1 double crochet in each of the single crochets around. We're not stitching in the back loops only anymore. We only did that on that particular row, and that will help it sit flat on the bottom and begin the sides of our cozy. All right, so I'm just going to stitch 1 double crochet in each of my single crochets around and then join back over here to my chain 3. I completed row 5 stitching 1 double crochet in each of the single crochets around. I joined to my chain 3, but I didn't do anything else because I'm going to go ahead and cut my purple thread because I'm not going to use that one again. I'm going to bring back in my green. Snug that down. And I'll weave that in later. All right, so for row 6, we're going to start with a chain 4. And we're going to repeat what we did down here, but we're going to skip in between. So our chain 4 counts as a double crochet chain 1. We're going to skip the next stitch and double crochet in the next stitch and chain 1. We'll skip the next double crochet and double crochet in the next and chain 1, skip the next, double crochet in the next. And this is what we're going to do for row 6. That gives us that open mesh look on the sides of our cozy. Isn't that pretty? It's looking really pretty with these two colors. But I'm going to be adding another color after a bit. All right, so I'm going to continue around stitching chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next, all the way around for this row, and then I'll join back to that third chain of my chain 4. So I stitched double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 all the way around. I joined to my chain 3 of that beginning chain 4, and I chained 4 again. And for row 7, we're just going to repeat row 6. We're going to double crochet in the next double crochet, chain 1, and skip the next stitch, which is our chain 1 stitch or chain 1 space. So chain 1, double crochet in the next double crochet, chain 1, because we're skipping the chain 1 spaces. Double crochet, chain 1, skip the chain, 1 space, and double crochet in the next double crochet. And we'll repeat this working all the way around. And that gives us 2 rows of that mesh looking stitch. And again, we'll repeat this working all the way around. And again, we'll join back to the third chain of our beginning chain 4. Double crochet, chain 1, skip that chain 1, double crochet in the next. We're going to join to the chain 3 of that chain 4, and we're going to chain 3. We're going to do a solid row of double crochets. So our chain 3 counts as our first, so we'll put 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space. Then we'll stick 1 double crochet in the double crochet, 1 double crochet in the chain 1 space, 1 double crochet in the double crochet. And we'll repeat this working all the way around, and this will give us a solid row of double crochets. Now I didn't change colors here on this one, but on this other one I did. I did green down here, and then I did this row in purple. And so you can do whatever you want with your colors. I am going to be adding in that variegated at the top for a little pop of color as well, the one that I showed you towards the beginning of the video. Alright, so we're just going to stitch a solid row of double crochets, stitching a double crochet in each double crochet and a double crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces. So I have completed row 8. We stitched 1 double crochet in each of the double crochets and 1 double crochet in each of the chain 1 spaces. So that gave us a solid row of double crochets. And you should have 48 double crochets because we didn't add or subtract any stitches. And so now what you're going to do is you're going to repeat row 6, row 7, and row 8 one more time. You'll do 2 rows of the mesh and 1 row of the solid double crochet. Alright, so we're going to repeat row 6, row 7, and row 8 one more time. So I repeated row 6, row 7, and row 8, row 6, row 7, and row 8 one more time, 2 rows of mesh and 1 row of a solid double crochet. I'm going to cut off my variegated because I'm done with that, and I'm going to come back in and finish with my green. Alright, so I'm going to bring that in, snug that down. There we go. Alright, now the last row is that top edge of picot stitch. And the way we do that is we're going to single crochet in the first stitch, then we'll single crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, and then slip stitch in that single crochet we just stitched. Now we'll single crochet in the next, and you'll see that little bump pop right up there. All right, now we can see a little bit better. So we've single crocheted. We're going to single crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, slip stitch in the top of that single crochet, and then single crochet in the next. And so we're just alternating single crochet, then single crochet with a picot. And that's just that little bump that's at the top that gives it a little bit fun edge. All right, see how that looks? And I'm going through both those loops of the single crochet, and I think it's just going to give it a little bit more sturdier since it's at the top of a cozy like this. We want it to be nice and sturdy and keep that little bump look. So single crochet in the next, single crochet in the next, and picot on that single crochet or at that single crochet. We'll continue this working all the way around the top of our cozy, and then we'll join back over here in our first single crochet. So I have stitched that picot stitch all the way around, and I really love the way that it looks. It just has a really neat look to it. I'm going to join to that first single crochet and cut my green yarn. I'm going to go to the back with that loop so we get a nice looking finish. There we go. And I have a few ends to weave in and some purple ones also, but this is the way that the cozy looks. I'm going to get my needle, weave those in, and then we're going to try it on my flower pot. It is a perfect fit to these pots that I purchased to transplant my philodendrons in. I love how it looks, a little pop of purple and variegated in there with the green. And of course you can choose whatever colors that you want. Here's the one that was on it. And this one is in nice bright spring colors. And so get in your yarn stash and see what beautiful pots you can cover. Decorate your patio, your porch, your house for spring.